So how do you use a flash? What do all of the buttons and controls on a flash do, and what are the main functions that you need to know about when you're using flash? So here's a flash. This is a Pixapro L-Ion 582 flash, which is the same as a Godox one, but the principles of using this flash are basically the same as using a Nikon flash, a Sony flash, or a Canon flash. Flashes are basically small units like this, often powered by AA batteries, or in the case of this one, they are powered by a rechargeable battery, and they're really handy things because they can sit on top of your camera and help you put more light into a scene when you need it, or they can be used creatively to do off-camera flash, and you can position them in different positions, either one light or two lights, three lights, four lights, whatever you want to do with different light modifiers to create fantastic things with off-camera flash. But today what I want to talk about is simply what are the basic operations that you see within this flash, and what can this flash do, and what are the main settings that you need to know about and the main functions that you need to know about to control a flash. The two main modes that you're going to use in a flash are TTL and manual mode. So if I look at changing the mode, so look on your flash and how you change the mode. On this flash, I press the mode button and I change the flash from ITTL or to manual mode. So you might have ITTL, ETTL, TTL. TTL stands for through the lens. Through the lens means when you put the flash on your camera, or sometimes off camera, this works as well. What happens is your flash fires a little pre-flash. That flash bounces back off the ceiling, off the wall, off the person that you're shooting, and comes back through a camera's lens. The camera and the flash talk to each other, and they understand based on the flash output, the aperture, the ISO that you're using, they work out exactly what the correct output of that flash should be. So that's TTL, that's basically like automatic exposure mode for your flash. So if you want to do automatic exposure with your flash without having to think about the power, use TTL or ITTL or ETTL mode in your flash. The other mode that we can use is called manual mode in the flash. So that's where you see M on the back of the flash. And in this mode, we can change the flash power by moving the dial, and it works in fractions. So in manual mode, 1/1 is full power flash. So that's a really big burst of light. As you scroll through the numbers on the wheel, you change to, so if I go from full power, I go to half power, quarter power, eighth power, and there's third stopped increments in between. I go all the way down to 1/128 power, which is a much lower burst of flash. This flash has got power settings in manual mode, which are controllable between full power, 1/1, all the way down to 1/128 of its full power. So that's quite a good and big range of flash. What else can this flash do? This flash can bend and tilt like this, which means I can fire the flash off the ceiling, off a wall, and that lets you angle the direction that the flash hits your subject from. And also by hitting the ceiling or the wall, you're diffusing the flash more rather than using a straight on direct flash into someone's face. If you bounce it off a wall or ceiling, you are going to get a much softer light because you're lighting a bigger light source, and a bigger light source gives you a softer light, and you're also giving yourself a better angle because it's either coming from above or the side, which is a nicer angle to direct light from when lighting people in particular. This flash zooms, so when I put this flash on to my camera, it will automatically zoom, if I've got automatic zoom set on this flash, to the zoom of my lens. So I've got a 200mm lens on, or a 105mm lens on. This flash will zoom its beam of light to be much more narrow and focused so that it travels further and it only lights a narrow part of the frame. There's no point if you're using a zoom lens, a telephoto lens, in your flash lighting the walls and the ceilings here. It's more important that the flash goes further and it's angled to match the angle of your lens. If you're using a wider angle lens like 24, as you zoom the lens, you'll see the zoom setting change on your flash. And that means your flash, if you're using say 24mm, your flash will spread further out to the sides because you need to light the ceiling and the walls in this instance, or the surroundings, rather than just a small dot in the background. If you're using a wide angle lens, you can pull out this thing here, which is called the diffuser, and that basically makes the flash go to a wider angle. So now on the back it says 40mm, so the flash is going to spread to an angle of 40mm. It's not really diffusing it because it's not making the flash head any bigger or bouncing anywhere, so it's not softening light, it's just spreading it on a wider beam. So by using this, which makes the flash spread over a wider area, you can use a wide angle lens, and that will enable you to spread the beam of the flash further and wider, and you can use something like a 14mm lens. Make sure you have that popped back in, otherwise your flash will never be able to zoom anything other than its widest setting. So if that's not stuck right in there, it means that you will never be able to zoom your flash to a more telephoto lens. Other settings on the back of the flash, so if you're in TTL mode, let's pop this into TTL mode, I can also control flash exposure compensation. So by putting your flash into TTL mode, find a plus minus button on the back and press that, and then turn your dial and you see it goes to plus 0.3 or plus 0.7 or plus 1. That means that in TTL mode, your flash will then over or underexpose the shot a little bit. So that means if you want a slightly overexposed flash, you put it into TTL mode and you use it in plus 0.3, plus 0.7 or plus 1. Or if you want to have a bit of fill flash, just use minus 0.3, minus 0.7 or minus 1. You'll get more of a fill flash effect. That's when you're using TTL mode, and that's called flash exposure compensation. Other modes that your flash might have, you might be able to sync it with its own trigger. With this flash, I can set it to sync with a Pixar Pro trigger, which is great. So if you're using Nikon or Canon, you might be able to set your own proprietary trigger system that works to fire the flash, so look out for that mode on the back as well. We also have a test button on the back so we can fire the flash. So we also have this bounce card as well on the flash. That is something that can be used if you're bouncing your flash. It just sends a little bit of light forward. That means that you get a little bit better catch lights in the person's eye and a little bit more light going forward. So that bounce card is just if you're bouncing the flash off a ceiling, it bounces a little bit of light forward, and it also just creates a little bright area there, which gives you a better catch light in the subject's eyes that you're taking a photo of. So that bounce card is just there to help you out with that sort of thing. That's it. Flashes are really that simple. So the main modes that you've got are, you have manual mode, which is where you control the power yourself. You have TTL mode, where it's a kind of automatic mode between the flash and the camera, working out what the flash exposure should be. You've probably got other modes in terms of repeating flash and aperture mode, but probably don't worry about them for now. If you're just starting out with flash, work mainly with manual or TTL mode. You've got the ability to bounce your flash and direct it in different directions like this. You've got your zoom diffuser here to make it go wider angle, and you've got your bounce card here. And on the back, you've got exposure compensation for working in TTL mode, so don't forget about that. And don't forget about the zoom function. So sometimes with off-camera flash, you want to change the zoom to a certain pattern, so whether it's focused or wide. But using your flash on camera, make sure that the zoom mode is set so that the zoom on the flash is automatic and it works with the zoom, and that lets you zoom, and your camera and your flash will work together, and your flash will zoom to the same angle of view as the lens that you're using. So that's it. There's lots more about flash that you can learn, but for now, let's just work on those things. Get your flash out, work through those modes, make sure you can use the basic functions, and then you can think about using it more creatively to do more exciting things.